All right, folks, welcome back. It's episode 10. It's another exhilarating episode of Rick and Fab No Ball coming at you live. Bare bones episode coming at you today. We are down a producer. We are down the heart and soul of the pod itself, Meerkat. We're like two chimps without I don't even know what metaphor I'm going for here, but yeah, we're going to try to struggle through it. Fab's been stepping up to the plate big, but we still got a great episode coming for you guys. We're talking KD to the Celtics. I know Fab's got plenty of takes to get off there. We're talking Kyler Murray needing a contract clause to do his homework. Talking nope. Fellas are going to know some screens today. I'm sure we'll have a spirited debate about that.
Rick and Fab, no cinema.
We do know cinema. That's what's shaped like a ball in cinema? I guess the lens. We know lenses, camera lenses.
Yeah, right.
Bunch of stuff to talk about. Producer Mir, he's out in Atlantic City. He wants you to think he's on a work trip, but I mean, this guy's never worked a day in his life. He's partying it up out there, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Fab?
Yeah, I don't know. I heard some murmurs about maybe Michael Jordan out there. So, I mean, Meerkat's doing some cool stuff.
Shout out
MJ. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to leak that, but shout out to Mir.
Well, he tweeted it. He tweeted it.
Okay.
Yeah, he tweeted it.
He's on an absolutely amazing opportunity of a work trip. He's up in Atlantic City for his big boy job. He gave some cards to the Boys and Girls Club today. He's at some conventions. Stuff. He's doing the damn thing. We're very proud of him. He just celebrated his birthday. Happy birthday, Mir.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, happy birthday, Mir. Yeah.
We miss you.
I'm kind of just hoping he doesn't. He'll definitely watch this because he's the greatest to ever do it. But if you're on the YouTube, I couldn't figure out how to set up like the screen. So me and Rick's faces are covering up like the beautiful setup that Meerkat has with our logo and stuff. But we're doing our absolute best here. We're absolutely grinding. We could have easily taken this week off, but we did it.
We're married to the podcast game. And yes, there's going to be some bumps in the road, folks. There's going to be some stuff that producer Mir is going to see and just make him sick to his stomach. But we're going to power through. We're going to make him proud. We're going to do it in his memory today.
Right. And another example of that is when we're supposed to talk about Kyler, which we will, but I didn't put a banner for that. So we're just going to.
Okay. Whatever. There's one.
Sorry, YouTube folks.
Yeah. Get it out of the way. Get it out in the open now as you realize it's happening.
Right.
But yeah, shout out to his birthday. Shout out to him for being the best producer alive. Hopefully he can upload it for us. He'll listen whenever he can, but that guy's busy. He's dream chasing right now. We love him.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure when you guys are going to be listening to this. Today it's the 27th, Wednesday, but we just realized this morning that we know how to record. We can at least we can hit the button that says record.
Yes.
And then we can hit the button.
And we can talk ball. We got that part. But apparently you need to upload it to the various services. And actually, like me and Fab, we hit end broadcast. We go on with our merry day and we say, Meerkat, take it from here. Like this guy, when I say heart and soul, he's actually carrying the team. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how things go. But despite not having Meerkat in studio, we have a mystery third chair in studio with us. One of your favorite recurring characters in the Rick and Fab No Ball universe.
First ever recurring guest.
Oh, I guess depending how you look at the definition of recurring, first time. It's actually second time, but first time as a recurring guest. Don't want to break some hearts here. I don't want everyone to get too hyped up. It is not Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yet.
We've been pounding the pavement, getting in touch with Rittenhouse's team. He's still bailing on us. You think we're ever going to get that guy on the horn, Fab? What do we think?
No, we'll get him on here eventually. I don't know if he thinks he knows more ball than us, or I don't know. Maybe he's not confident in his ball knowing abilities, but we'll get him on here one way or another.
I actually, not to get sidetracked as we often do here, but I saw on TikTok he has like an absolute stunner of a girlfriend.
Does he?
Like insanely hot, like blonde, just absolute bombshell. She's really leaning into the brand, so to speak, making some very controversial TikToks on the subject.
Yep.
Over there.
I can see that.
I think just kind of using the platform to become, a famous TikToker in the Rittenhouse sort of sphere, I guess.
Okay, ready. Maybe he thinks he's better than us.
Yeah, I don't know. He's busy. So what we have here, our boy. You remember him from the draft team. It's Gerald Hogwood. It's my roommate. What's up, Gerald? How we doing tonight?
I'm honored to be on the show. Big fan. I'm going to try to bring the heat like only K-Money can, but we'll see. I know a lot of people are upset that he's not in the show, but hopefully I can fill in as best as I can.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, the pressure's on. I mean, as we say, big-time players make big-time plays. We're really going to see what you're made of in this podcasting game. Gerald's formerly a podcaster in his own right.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a podcast gig about 4 years ago. Hopefully I made a good impression on the draft day live show, but was dealing with some audio issues, so I had to fight through some adversity there. So I'm looking to kind of cement myself as a podcasting guy here on the show.
Yeah, we're all battling adversity, and we're all trying to secure our legacies here, is what we do on Rick and Fab No Ball. I'm seeing now on the YouTube.
What am I doing today to cement my legacy? This is it.
Yes.
Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing today?
We're podcasting our dicks off is what we're doing.
Hell yeah.
Without a producer, mind you.
Yeah, we don't have a producer in studio. We just got three guys who know ball. So let's get right into it. Let's talk some ball.
All right.
Woj, the absolute sicko that he is, the psychopath, decided to drop a bomb on us at 2:30. Seemed like it was a bomb, then seemed like it was kind of a nothing burger. But KD to the Celtics talks are alive and well. The Celtics fan base has been through a roller coaster of emotions. I know Fab, he's been talking himself out of KD, back into KD, back out of KD. We had the Jalen Brown SMH tweet. So as we do with all Celtics news here, Fab, sound off. What do we think?
All right. So I don't remember what day it was, but whatever day this happened, it was Monday morning, actually. I slept in that day like quite long.
Yeah, you never do that.
Never do that. Out of the ordinary. But what I do is I set alarms and I wake up periodically, then I go back to bed. So my first alarm I woke up, checked my phone, group chat's going nuts about these nothing burgers, that's what they turned out to be from Woj and Shams.
I got off a tweet at 2:30. I was still up at the time. I was just like, what a just awful time for this kid to be asleep. He's going to wake up to just chaos.
Was it 2:30 in the morning?
It was 2:30 in the morning when Woj dropped it, which made it seem like, oh, this is breaking news. But there really was no new information being presented, apparently. So Woj just lit the firecracker in the middle of the night just because he gets off on that kind of thing, I guess. But
right.
Yeah. You were asleep and you woke up to chaos.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like everything happens so fast in the NBA offseason and then all of a sudden nothing. So when something does happen, you just want to believe it. So like a normal person, smart person, unlike me, would have read the article and would have realized that what these reports were just nothing. This was all old news. But what I did was I ran with it. I got a bunch. I wish I had my tweets pulled up. I think I tweeted something like, at this point, we have to do this trade. Like Jalen Brown hates us now. Like we are fucked. We must trade, like past the point of no return, pretty much. Like you get these rumors out there. Jalen Brown pretty much has been treated like shit by the Celtics and the Celtics fans since he was booed on draft night when he got picked to now. Nobody respects him. Like he's expandable. Why would he want to be here, right? So I kind of talked myself into that, and then eventually, shout out Cranny. Cranny actually went and read the whole Shams article on The Athletic, and just no sources, nothing of value. There was really just nothing there, which was very just annoying. It seems like Wendy's really the only guy we can trust these days.
Summer of Wendy continues, yeah.
Yeah.
So that the morning hit, everybody is reacting to the news, thinking, what the fuck, we got a 2:30 Woj bomb. But you click on this article, it says the Celtics appear no closer to acquiring Durant than others in discussion. There are no deals believed to have traction for Durant, and no team has yet to reach the significant threshold that the Nets have set. They have like 3 for unprotected first ticket offer and 2 pick swaps, but you actually dig into the article, it's a big nothing burger.
Yeah, so no sources, nothing.
It would appear that, to me at least, the Nets are kind of at an impasse here. We're in the post-summer league dog days of summer where the trade talks kind of slow for a few weeks up until training camp. Seemed like the Nets were just trying to stir the pot and kind of put the pressure on, reinvigorate interest, which could backfire very heavily if you're a Celtics fan. We saw the SMH tweet from Jalen Brown. But let's not talk about all that. Let's avoid whether or not it is a nothing burger. Let's avoid whether or not it's actually going to happen. At the bare minimum level, how do we feel about Jaylen Brown and a bunch of picks going for Kevin Durant? How does this make you better or worse if you're a Celtics fan? Does this open your title window heavier? Does it close it to a smaller period? Is Kevin Durant sticking around? Is Jaylen Brown sticking around long term? What are your thoughts just at the bare minimum level at KD to the Celtics?
I want to hear Gerald's thoughts first, and then I'll give mine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I have a couple thoughts. My first being is that obviously in the next couple of years, it does give you a better chance of winning the championship. I think it's pretty obvious Durant's a better player than Jaylen Brown. However, this move, I've been thinking about it, this move might open the door for Tatum in the league. I'm not saying that Kevin Durant blows up teams by any stretch of the imagination, but if you look at what happened in Golden State, that turned into a kind of a tough situation when he wasn't the guy. He's going to come in Boston if he does go there, and I don't know if he's the guy over Tatum in terms of a fan support because Boston loves their homegrown fans. They might have a little bit of resentment that they lost Brown from, especially if they give up a ton of picks. And this is something that I can see, say they don't win a championship in 2 years, 3 years. Tatum's going to leave. Durant's going to leave. The whole core is going to get blown up. All of a sudden, you got no championships, and you're wondering what could have been. On the other side, if you don't take Durant, same situation where you're like, if next year it seems like the Celtics possibly peaked this year in terms of getting the most out of the talent, if they do regress a little bit, you'll be thinking, we could have had a chance to get the best player in basketball, and we didn't do it. We didn't pull the trigger. So it's a really tough spot for Celtics fans. Personally, I wouldn't make the trade. I'd run out with my team that I've had personally, but Fab, you're the Celtics guy. What do you think?
So the biggest thing that I always go to is that in my head, I really do think that Jaylen Brown is going to leave once he hits free agency in 2 years. And then at that point, I feel like we're all going to be like, assuming we don't trade Jaylen for KD, and then Jaylen leaves in 2 years. So now what? Like we could have got KD for him, and the argument that everyone wants to make about how they don't want to trade Jaylen is the age. Like you're going to trade a young Jaylen for an old KD, but if Jaylen's leaving in 2 years, and you're talking about 2 years of Kevin Durant or 2 years of Jaylen Brown, you want 2 years of Kevin Durant right now, obviously.
Yeah.
But obviously, like there's no way of knowing what Jaylen's going to do in 2 years. It's just it's just a terrible feeling in my stomach that I feel like I know that he's going to leave, and I'm not going to blame him if or when he does. So it's just kind of a mess. But I really don't think the trade's going to happen. I didn't think it was. I did for a few hours, obviously, when those tweets happened, but I'm back to thinking that the trade's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so I think that's a great point. You look at the Jaylen Brown contract, and it's only 2 years there. But you also look at Kevin Durant. Yeah, I think you swap those players, and yeah, Kevin Durant makes you a better team right now, and he might be under contract for those next 4 years, but Durant's always a flight risk. On paper, he looks great, but John, you said it, like it's not a guy that goes in and blows up a team, but at a certain point, we got to take a look at the track record and see he is leaving teams at a higher rate than most. He is a guy that's going to request a trade when he wants out, so you might think, 4 years of Durant versus 2 years of Brown, but Durant, he's a flight risk, and you never know. And Gerald, you brought up this point that I really wanted to touch on. It's about those homegrown stars in Boston. Like you look at, maybe you trade for Kevin Durant and it slams your title window open, and maybe he wins a championship his first year. But you look at Boston. This is not Toronto, where Raptors fans have never seen a championship, where Kawhi Leonard comes in for a year and he's that assassin you bring onto a very talented team, and he wins you a ring and he's loved forever. This is Boston. They're not starving for championships. They've grown up watching Tom Brady. The older Celtics fans have seen some of the best dynasties in sports history. Even if you're not a huge football guy, but you're a huge Celtics fan, you remember that championship in 2008. Like this is not a franchise or a city that's really starving for titles. So if Kevin Durant comes in and delivers that title to Boston, he's not going to be like in the pantheon of Celtics greats. He's not this is the most storied franchise probably in basketball. He's not up there with Bird or Paul Pierce even if he comes in. But you keep Jaylen Brown around, you keep Tatum around, and you keep this core around, and they are drafted with the franchise. They're brought up with the franchise, and they stick together through all these tribulations, through losing to LeBron in the conference finals, to losing in the finals last year. If these two get over the hump, that championship just means so much more to Boston.
Oh, yeah,
Those
definitely.
are guys that are instantly elevated to the level of at least that 2008 team. And yeah, maybe Kevin Durant makes you better right now, but I think there's something to be said about a team like grinding, struggling it out, endearing themselves to a city, becoming one with the city. And it sounds like that's what Jalen Brown wants to do. He's re-upped his commitment to Boston every chance he gets. Sounds like Tatum's not going anywhere. Like, I think that's where I'm sitting is I would rather go about it with a team that has really earned it and has really, given back to the city over a guy you just bring in for 1 year and it's Kevin Durant. And yeah, that's great. But
Rick, I think you hit the nail on the head perfectly there. If I'm Kevin Durant, I don't think I do the trade. If I'm the Celtics, I don't think I do the trade. So why do it? If you're KD, you already went to Golden State as a mercenary, basically got 2 rings. If you go to Boston, like I mentioned earlier, it might still be Tatum's team. And just as a fan, I know that I'm against my Cubs. I'm a huge Chicago Cubs fan. The Cubs traded away their entire roster. Even if they do go back and win championship in 2028 or whatever it may be with a bunch of trade, like the Dodgers do, like that type of situation, it's not going to be the same as 2016, not just because of the 108 years of history, but because of the fact that these guys were all homegrown. Baez, Bryant, Rizzo. These guys were all guys that we drafted. And to that extent, it's even more in the NBA when you see your Celtics fall short so many times, like you mentioned, Rick. And the 08 team in Boston is completely idolized. They're legends in the city.
No team in, I think, NBA history has gotten so much love from one ring. Like those guys somehow all became legends. And they had some great series with Kobe, but they only won one, and they're fucking we talk about them like they're gods.
Yeah, it's not something you see.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you see with the Warriors, other than the Warriors, though, it's not something it just really doesn't happen, even in any sport. There's definitely something to be said for that. That's a good point.
But if KD goes there, I was gonna say if KD goes there and wins a ring, he's not in the pantheon of Boston legends. He's just another guy that went there to get a ring, and they're gonna almost shove him to the side because he's not gonna be good in 3 or 4 years.
And that's what I think really drives KD is he wants to be loved. He wants to add to that legacy. That's really his primary motivation at this point in his career. And you can say, oh, he's under contract for 4 years. He's not going to have a say where he goes. Somehow superstars always land where they wanted to go in the first place. So he is going to have some say in this. If I'm KD, exactly like you said, if I'm KD, why do I do this? If I'm the Nets, why do I do this? If I'm the Celtics, why do I do this? So why are we even talking about it?
Right.
And add on to that, I saw a Celtics beat writer said they would also probably have to include Smart in the trade package. So, I mean, that's another tough point.
Yeah.
Another guy who just the city of Boston loves. That's another homegrown guy you have to give up 2 at this point, and a guy who's just coming off a defensive player of the year season who's integral to your locker room, integral to your on the court play.
Mm-hmm.
And is it really worth blowing up 40% of your starting lineup?
Exactly like you said. If you're the Nets, I think that Marcus Smart probably has 30% of the value on that team as he does in the Celtics. Just from a charisma or chemistry standpoint, everything he does for that team, the defensive stopper that he is. It just doesn't make sense for either team, like you said, Rick.
It doesn't. Another thing is, my last point about this is every other fan base that's in the quote unquote Kevin Durant sweepstakes wants him there. But if you Boston Celtics fans do not want Kevin Durant, the amount of tweets that I saw, we want Jalen Brown, reply 7 in a shamrock if you love Jalen Brown and you want him here. Every fucking Celtics Twitter is going nuts. They don't want to see Jalen Brown gone. They do not want Kevin Durant. And I don't think Kevin Durant wants to come to Boston. I think if he did, he would have came to Boston, and that the opportunity for him to come to Boston was right there for him. It was perfect in 2016 or whatever year that was. I think that was his time. I don't think he wants to come here. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
And also,
unfortunately, because I love KD, but.
And my last point on this is I feel like going back to even the Ainge era before Stevens took over, and Stevens has been very trigger happy on the trades. He brought in Brogdon, not a guy who's scared to give up picks to go and get his guy. Now we're talking 8 first-round picks or 5 first-round picks. They can offer 5. It seems like the Nets want 8. It seems like Gobert kind of set the floor there. Brad's not afraid to make that trade, but you look at Boston. I feel like every 6 months going back to 2017 when they really started to get good, I feel like they get 6 months, and then like there's a big trade throw in, or they hit the reset button, whether that's Kyrie, whether that's Kemba. I feel like there's never really just been a time for this locker room to just kind of settle in and like figure out what they are. And, there's always just such a big change thrown at them at the last minute, I think. And now we're talking about the granddaddy of them all. Like, when is this roster just going to be able to fucking cook a little bit, I guess?
Wait, I want to go off real quick about that point. I'm glad you brought that up because this has been pissing me off. People bringing up the it's always whenever like a trade happens, everyone's like, oh, well, it's a business, except for when Isaiah Thomas in Boston is being talked about. That Isaiah Thomas trade, that was maybe the biggest fleece of all time in our favor. Like, obviously it didn't work out with Kyrie, but an Isaiah Thomas who did exactly nothing after he left Boston for Kyrie Irving. Like, we absolutely fleeced them. Like, how would you not do that trade? I see that commentary a lot, and it really like pisses me off because like.
What about Garnett Pierce back in 13 also?
Yeah, it's just crazy how like people are like, oh well, Boston doesn't care about you. They'll do whatever. Like, don't go there, KD. It's like that commentary is absolutely insane to me. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. Nobody's ever gotten more love for one season than Isaiah Thomas. He's been getting way too many shots in the league at this point. I mean, you got to love him for that 1 year, but yeah, I agree with you there. Any other points? Do we want to move on to Kyler Murray?
I'm gonna kind of disagree with you there on the Isaiah Thomas point.
Oh, all right, let's do it. As far as what, the trade being a fleece?
Player. No, not about the trade. I'm talking to Rick here about he's not getting too many shots in the league. He had a career-ending injury. Like, put him on like an 8th, 9th man. See if he can come off the bench for 6-7 minutes as a spark plug and score. He's not doing anything on defense. It's a liability, sure, but I don't think he's gotten too many chances in the league. Anyway, move on. Sorry.
Well, he went to after the Cavs. Did he?
I just see him tweet like I saw this past week. Someone was like, "The Hornets need veteran leadership," and he just like a random person he quote tweets and is like, "They need to bring the kid in. Let's go, bring me in." Like,
well, yeah, that's a different story. It's him just trying to get his Twitter following to get him a tryout. But I get what you're saying.
Okay.
His Twitter is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying.
That's the biggest sin you can commit in my eyes, is having an annoying Twitter persona.
Right.
But anyway, let's move on to our short king, Kyler Murray.
Let's switch balls here.
Noted like 6 or 7, like a full foot maybe shorter than the host of this podcast, but whatever. Mm-hmm. He can throw a football, he can run. So Kyler Murray, our guy, just inked a 5-year, 5-year, $230 million contract extension, $160 million guaranteed. Before we get into the whole homework clause, let's just talk. Do we like this contract? As soon as the contract was signed, I was like, that's a lot of money for Kyler Murray. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great quarterback and will get you a lot of regular season wins, but I don't think he's in that Allen, Mahomes, Rodgers tier that is kind of warrants giving up pretty much equity in your franchise and paying him just out the ass. I don't think he was worth this Supermax deal, but what do you guys think?
I agree, but at the same time, if you're the Cardinals, you don't really have much of a choice. Like, he's your guy, quote unquote your guy. I don't even know if he likes the Cardinals. I mean, I guess he does, but
because they just paid him a lot of money. That's why he likes him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to pay him, I don't really know what other avenue they would go down. But I completely agree. I don't think I would bet my life that Kyler Murray will never win a Super Bowl. I'm very out on Kyler Murray just as a whole.
I agree with you, which is super ironic. This is something that I've thought about over the past year, and he's been really good. Is that doesn't he have like an insane track record going back to high school and college? Like, never loses a game. I think in high school he won 4 state championships at like the biggest high school in Texas, and then college obviously went to the college football playoff where they lost. But the thing is, Kyler Murray is when I watch him in the NFL, I just feel like he's never going to win a big game, which is like completely opposite to what he used to do in high school and college. But I think that just because like when he was on those teams, they were just stacked totally in his favor. When he went to Oklahoma, they play in the Big 12, like not a lot of real competition there at the time. The team was loaded with NFL talent. In high school, I'm not going to dig into his high school talent, but I'm sure they're pretty fucking good. And
he's
the NFL,
like he's like considered like the best Texas high school football player like ever. Like the guys that saw him play in Texas in high school, which is no league full of pushovers, they talk about him like he's a god. And you watch the stats, and he pretty much was a god.
Yeah, that's why it's just so weird because when I watch the NFL, I'm like, this guy is never gonna like win a big game. I don't know.
Yeah, oozing with talent, oozing like he can run the ball, he can make any damn throw on the football field, but the big games he kind of seems to wither under. It doesn't seem like he does his prep work, which we'll talk about right now. And yeah, all the talent, everything you want is there, but there's something about him that I just don't have faith in him to win a big game. And I think a big part of that goes into this contract clause that came out a few days after he signed the extension. And I don't know who leaked this because this looks terrible on the Cardinals' part. It looks terrible on Kyler's part. No agent would leak this. No franchise would leak this. I don't know how this came out, but I'm glad that it did because it is fucking hilarious. The Arizona Cardinals, in the fine lines of the $230 million contract they handed to their franchise quarterback, a guy you hope will lead you to a Super Bowl, a guy you hope will be your leader, set the example, take your franchise to new heights that the Cardinals have never been to. $160 million guarantee. In the fine lines of this contract, player agrees to satisfy the following off-field requirements. Player shall complete at least only 4 hours of independent study each week. I want my quarterback to live and breathe in the film room. I think every successful quarterback we've ever seen lives and breathes in the film room. We've heard reports in the past Kyler likes video games too much.
He's part of FaZe Clan.
Yeah, I guess FaZe Kyler's a thing.
Yeah.
I saw like a quote in 2021 that he was like, I'm not going to be a guy that sits there and is killing myself watching film. All I know is if Tom Brady is sitting there laughing at that fucking clause because he's doing 4 hours probably daily of independent study.
Probably more. Probably more.
Yeah, just not ideal. Not what you want to see from your franchise QB, that he has to be forced into watching film. So what are your guys' thoughts on this clause?
By the way, Kyler Murray just gives off the biggest video game player vibes of all time. I don't know why that is. I just feel like that guy is playing 7 to 8 hours of video game on the weekends all the time. I don't know why that
is. He also strikes me, he definitely wears the same headband too, like when he plays video games. I can just see him like dialed in, like the same headband he wears in games.
On his wrist.
Yeah. The FaZe headband or something. No, but when I first saw that report, I didn't really think all that much of it because I don't really know about NFL contract clauses. So I was like, oh, maybe this is like kind of normal. But then the more I looked, there was multiple guys who have been like, I've been covering the league for 25 years. I've never seen anything like this. That is very concerning. Very concerning for a guy you're paying millions and millions of dollars.
The thing that strikes me is what a low number it is. Like that's the bare minimum you have to get his ass in the film room. Like I think it would almost look better if you were like, you need to do 8 hours because we only see you doing 4. If you have to require 4 hours, that means the independent study he was doing before is probably at a 0.
That's not a lot of time at all. Like I feel like that's like high school. Like in high school, I feel like you watch close to 4 hours on whoever you're playing that week. Like that's concerning.
If I'm an offensive lineman blocking for Kyler Murray, that's a certified uh-oh moment for me because I'm probably doing 4 hours of film study trying to keep this little guy's ass upright, and he's not repaying the favor. Like that's something that causes division in a locker room, and I don't know if Kyler Murray's that guy to really unite and lead a locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll get the Skip Bayless takes off right now. I don't know if he's a real locker room guy. He's more of a backwards hat kind of guy. Shout out.
He's a backwards hat kind of guy. That
cool guy.
That's the guy. Yeah, he wears that headband everywhere, Fab. He wears that headband when he's playing pickup basketball. When he's playing, and this is a guy that had a MLB contract and an NFL contract. He's like I said earlier, he never loses. Like never lost in high school and football. He thinks that everybody worships the ground he walks on, and he goes to the NFL. I'll go Skip Bayless too. He's not a guy that's going to take you to a playoffs, to a long-term playoff win. There's no way.
Yeah, this isn't a guy you want picking up your daughter for prom night. This isn't what we're looking for here. Okay. If you want to go full Colin Cowherd here.
Racially motivated. Come on now.
Oh, come on.
I did actually see somebody getting off that take Well, I was just doing my Googling right now that the contract clause is secretly racist.
Oh, really?
There's nothing
who'd be watching
racist
that
about a
film?
guy who could is on the record as not being a film guy. Just doesn't want to watch film.
Say what you will about Mitch Trubisky. He's a class act. He's watching film.
I think I tweeted this out right as soon as I saw the contract. I would bet, I can't wait to clip this because I know I'm going to be right. Within less than 365 days from right now, we will get some sort of report that Kyler Murray has either removed the Cardinals from his Instagram bio or unfollowed his offensive line, or he's done, some sort of shenanigans like that.
You made this joke, Fab. Do you think there's an unfollowers clause, like $1 million down per $1 million down per teammate unfollowed?
Yeah, you have to follow it. You just mute him, if anything. Just mute him. You have to make sure you're following everybody.
You get a 500,000 bonus for posting something in Cardinals gear. He's just an influencer now.
No, I really just can't wait for the season to start because you already know Kyler Murray is going to be number one on the MVP fucking ballot or whatever through week 10 or whatever, and then we're going to see the Cardinals just crash and burn and probably lose in the first round in horrific fashion.
That was the most predictable collapse of all time. I hate to say it. I don't know if you guys got the same feelings as I did when they were like 12-2 at some point last year. I think it was like when I was watching that, it's like them and the 08 Titans. I don't know if you remember that. But both of those, I think the Titans started like 13-0, and everybody thought they were going to collapse, and they did.
It was the same with the Steelers. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. The Steelers were like 10-0 or something, like the worst 10-0 team you'll ever see. It's so predictable with the Cardinals. I don't know. I just feel like it's just going to keep happening, and I don't know where they're going to end up at the end of this. Probably back at the bottom of the league. I don't have anything else on Kyler.
Yeah, it seems like just
pretty cut and dry.
Just going on there with
weird
that contract.
Fucking move for a franchise to do. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fab, like you said, that if you're the Cardinals, you probably didn't have much of a choice. Just throwing that contract in there seems like a boneheaded, or throwing that clause in that contract seems like a terrible move for both sides. But if you feel that desperate that you had to include it, probably just doesn't bode well for the future.
Yep.
So do we want to move on, and are we talking screens next, Fab?
We got our Dribble NBA game here, which is I would imagine is new to most people listening.
Yes, we are not doing Pirtle today, folks. We're doing the Dribble game. I'm going to be sharing my screen for it, but this is a very fun game, kind of in the same vein as Wordle. So how this works is you're going to get two random NBA players, and what we have to do, you have to, by mutual teammates, you have to connect those teammates. Like what's the rule? It's like 6 degrees of
Kevin Bacon. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees of separation or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Either works. So yeah, we all know the game. We have to connect them by mutual teammates. And should we just get right into it?
Yeah, let's get right into it here.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen here.
Yeah, this is my first time ever looking at this, so we'll.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like Wordle where everyone gets the same one every day or everyone gets a random one.
Gotcha.
Oh, there's a little mindfuckery there. All right, can everyone see it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm refreshing. It looks like this is the only one we got today. So connect Tracy McGrady to Carmelo Anthony through mutual teammates. We have 6 guesses to do it. So let's think of the teams McGrady has played for first off. He started his career in Orlando. Then he went to the Rockets, obviously. I don't know, really.
We can go Trevor Ariza and LeBron.
Okay.
Maybe.
Wait, LeBron. My first guess was Dwight Howard.
When did Ariza play with McGrady?
Wasn't he on the Rockets in 07? Am I wrong about that?
He was on the Rockets at one point. I don't know if they're...
Yeah, it's probably like...
Okay,
yeah,
you know what might be the key here? Do you guys remember Tracy McGrady spent some time on the Spurs team that won a championship? He was like a bench warmer for the 14 Spurs. So maybe we go a little sneaky Patty Mills here.
Was he? I don't think he was in that 14 team.
No, I promise you he warmed the bench for one of the Spurs team that went to the finals. I think he actually was on that 13 team, and I think he was on that 13 team and didn't retire before they won it in 14. But I know for a fact he was warming the bench for the Spurs in the finals. So I think we go Patty Mills. Then we go to whatever center. I can't remember if it was JaVale or Drummond that was center for the Nets. Then that should take us right to Melo.
So there's only one right answer, right? There's only one mutual player.
No, there's plenty of various answers. You just have to get it in 6 teammates or less.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, we can go. So you want to go Patty?
I can't remember if Patty was on the Spurs team, but I know for a fact fucking McGrady was.
Patty Mills was for sure on the 14 team. I don't think McGrady was though.
I don't think Patty and Carmelo ever played.
I'll stake my reputation on this. Well, this is just a bridge to get there. I don't know if we're gonna have a perfect.
Gotcha.
Do you want to rock with it?
Yeah, let's just do it. Nike.
I'll stake my reputation on McGrady being on the Spurs at one point. Okay, I think that means we got it right. Yeah, we got it right. It's not crossed out. Okay, so we need to go from Patty Mills to Melo Anthony. Okay, let me just Google this just to prove you guys. Tracy McGrady teams. Spurs 2013. I knew it, dude.
They won in 14. Was he on the?
Yeah, that's what we deduced. He wasn't on. So then Patty and Drummond played on the Nets together this year, and then Drummond would have played with Melo last year, right?
Yep. There you go.
The gears are really moving here.
So Drummond, final answer?
Yeah, let's do it.
That should connect. We got it right, but they didn't play together.
So now
we just finish off with LeBron, right?
I guess I'm so confused.
I feel like LeBron
LeBron played with both for sure.
I thought Drummond, maybe Melo didn't come in until after Drummond.
He didn't come until last year, and Drummond left in left 21, whatever that was.
There it is. We got it.
I thought Trevor.
Marcus Camby was the shortest path possible. Marcus
Camby. Okay. Noted UMass Minutemen.
I feel like pretty much every answer for this game, you could somehow incorporate LeBron into it. Like that should be a little mini game.
Yeah, Ariza was on the 09 Rockets, so I just want to protect myself here.
He was. He did play with McGrady.
Yeah, he was.
And then he would play with LeBron. So.
Okay, so we could. Johnny, you had it pegged from the start in 2 guesses.
But wait, I don't know if McGrady was on the 09 Rockets.
Let's try it. Oh, I don't think I can redo it. Okay. Yeah.
He was.
We'll start doing that. I'm a big fan of that game.
Yeah, I like that game.
Doing that every show.
It took me till the very end to kind of grasp what was going on, but I like that.
How did you? I feel like it was very self-explanatory. Fat. What are we doing?
Well, so the first few answers, those weren't the right answer though. Those were just like what answers get crossed off. I'm just like, what's the difference between crossed off and them just not turning green?
If they're crossed off, they weren't on. The teammates never played together.
Oh
yeah,
gotcha. Okay, yeah, I think I get it. We got some motion pictures talk here. Switch gears.
Also, our podcast is sponsored by FSU Brando, who just won Rick and Fab No Ball Reply Guy of the Year to quickly follow up with his PMT Reply Guy of the Year award. So shout out to Brando, first ever back-to-back podcast reward recipients ever, probably.
Nobody deserves it more than Brando.
Podcast. Oh, just the purest guy ever. I would fucking die for that guy.
Easily. Love you, Brando. We know he's watching.
J-Dubs or Gerald to fill you in. Yeah, me and Gerald, for those who don't know, we lived together last year. One of my favorite people on earth. Probably the only guy who loves Chicago sports more than me. But yeah, there's some familiarity here. But our boy Brando, one of our Twitter mutuals, he just got nominated, and I think he won a takey from Part of My Take.
Oh, I haven't listened to that episode yet, but
yeah,
LeBron James fans actually won it over him. So we gotta take down LeBron James fans. Yeah,
LeBron James fans beat Brando.
Or actually, no, it wasn't the stands. It was the LeBron James haters who reply to everything that prove that every single LeBron win is Mickey Mouse. Like they go in every single year. Yeah, so those guys won it over Brando.
So yeah, he was up for Reply Guy of the Year, and he's always replying to like Barstool guys with funny tweets. He does a bunch of like covers and like song covers. So like if he hears a Barstool guy has a favorite band, he'll do a cover of them. He's done a few like Barstool themed parodies. The guy just crushes it.
There's no one I love more than those LeBron guys that literally have no life. They put the notifications on, and their entire existence is just to try to prove that LeBron isn't the best player of all time. I just want to have a beer with some of those guys. I just want to see what their normal life is like. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Nothing makes me laugh more than a good lay Mickey or lay China.
Yeah. Oh, dude, those are the best.
Where they throw lay and then just a word that doesn't go like La Bomb is funny, but lay China, lay Mickey, that's the best thing that comes out.
Fraud.
Lay fraud. Just when they don't fit together at all.
All right, let's instead of doing motion pictures, let's go to contract talks. I know you wanted to talk some Roquan Smith here. You guys, Chicago guys. Let's do that, and then let's do motion pictures. So let's do some contract talk.
So contract talk, first off, as I said, the Bears continue, even in the offseason, find a new way to make me miserable. We just dropped we'll wait for Fab to get back to make a tidbit about the helmets, but Roquan Smith, the best Mike backer in football, in my opinion, and in the opinion of anyone else who knows ball.
Anyone who has a brain.
Anyone who knows ball, he's the best of the best. He is holding out from Bears training camp because he has not received a contract extension. I don't have any thoughts here except for 3 words: pay the man.
Pay the man. Yep. And I was going to say the exact same thing. This doesn't have to be that long of a segment here, Rick. It's pretty obvious. Pay the guy. And here's the thing about the Bears is that we're going to have a fuck ton of cap space. I think the year after next or next year, whatever it is. Pay him now. I don't care if we're in salary cap hell, which I don't think we're going to be. Like right now, we're going to have the space to pay him next year. And let me tell you what's going to happen if we don't pay him. And this is classic Bears. We're going to have a great offense around Fields. And we're not going to have someone like Roquan who's going to be the middle guy to sustain the defense. So if we don't pay
He's
Roquan,
the leader in the heartbeat of that defense.
Exactly. If we don't pay Roquan, all that's going to happen in 4 years is we're going to be bitching about how the Bears finally have a great offense, generational quarterback, which they will have regardless. And we're not going to have someone on defense that's going to be able to carry.
He's the quarterback of that defense at the Mike spot. And this is a great chance for the new regime and the new management to set the tone and say, hey, you come in, you play your heart out, you give it the city of Chicago everything you got. And Roquan has done that on some extremely shitty football teams. He's done that. This is a good chance for the regime to set the tone and just say, hey, you come in and do what we ask, you will get fucking paid. This is a great – if I'm a new guy and I see these contract talks hold out, I'm wondering, well, if I play my ass off the next 5 years, what's the point? They're not going to pay me.
I don't want to keep
set the tone early and often that we take care of our guys and that this is a new franchise going forward and a new vision.
Agreed.
So I'm trying to think of like the cons of pay. Like, are there Bears fans that don't want to pay him? Like, what is there?
No, nobody.
Like, what is the reason? I don't understand the reasoning.
We don't have our cap situation's pretty spotty this year, just because we're covering Ryan Pace. But going forward in the future, we don't have a ton of obligations. There's a ton of opportunity for us to open up a ton of cap space. It's not going to be an issue after this year.
It's a long-term play.
Pay the guy. Just fucking pay the guy.
Yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't pay him. It doesn't make any sense to me. I agree with you guys as a Patriots fan. I'm gonna be one of those guys. I'm a Patriots fan, but as a Patriots fan, pay the man.
Those are the best. Like somebody dies or has a horrible accident, and
they're like when
it's like, hey, Bears fan checking in, but don't want to see this guy literally fucking die. Like, okay, thanks for clarifying you're a Bears fan first.
Like John Mechie, when he announced that he had leukemia, he wasn't going to be playing. I saw a lot of I'm not going to say Colts because I got Colts fans bad last time. I'll choose a different team. Jaguars fan here. I hope John Mechie recovers quickly from his cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one time I want to see someone say, Jags fans here, really hope this guy tears his left ACL. Really hope because I've seen
really
2,000.
Georgia fan here. I hope it's stage 4.
Well, I'm not going to say cancer, but if we're talking about a torn ACL here. Listen, Titans fan here. Wouldn't hate to see him out for another year. Wouldn't hate.
Yeah.
But hey, no. That would
hope
be.
The MRI hope the MRI is horrible news. I'm praying on his downfall.
That's why whenever you're rooting for someone's injury, which I'll say I do not do, just to clarify that, get ahead of that one.
Never.
But I'll be like, I really hope he sprains his ankle and he's out for a week. You know.
Mm. Right.
That's about like the threshold that you can do. I think that's like socially acceptable.
Yeah, as long as we get once you get into injuries that are like longer than a week, that's when you kind of draw the line there. Like a minor like grade 1 ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Who
amongst us hasn't rooted for like a bone bruise for a
guy
that's just
I hope he gets turf toe or something.
Like he goes down, everyone's huddled around him, and you're telling your buddies, man, I hope he's okay. But there's this, if you're a sports fan, all of us, there's a small part in the back of your brain, like, I hope it's serious
we
enough
actually had
to
the
start out
peak
the rest
of
of the
that.
game, but not serious enough to affect his future.
Back when COVID was running around, but everyone realized it wasn't like that bad of like a life-threatening thing for athletes.
Cool.
That was the peak, was when you found out that someone on the other team got COVID right before you played.
Because you can celebrate that and not feel like a douche.
Yeah, you can celebrate that and not feel like a dick.
Yeah.
It's like, but the best is like, he has no symptoms. All right, great. So I don't have to feel like a dick, but you legally have to be out. If he plays against our team, he's a public health problem.
Right.
The best case is when they would go on the COVID list, but it turns out they had just been exposed, but they just had to take 2 days to get tested and test negative.
Yeah, the close contact. The close contact, like 7-day quarantine.
Yeah. That's good.
We had one more contract to get to. Switch balls back to basketball.
So a report came out today. We're switching balls once again. We're versatile. We know all our balls.
Yeah.
Switching back and forth.
Green, quote, wants and believes he deserves a max contract. Did you just make a switch back and forth Ray Allen joke?
He did, yeah.
Fab made that exact same.
I know, it's a callback to that one.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Avid listener.
Yeah, I heard it.
But yeah, Draymond wants and feels he deserves a max contract extension from the Warriors. How do we feel about that? If you're the Warriors, do you offer that to Draymond Green?
No.
I mean, he's not a free agent. He just wants an extension.
He's not. I don't think he's up for a year or two at least. Let me look it up.
Pull up my favorite player of all time, who I do not hate, Draymond Green. I mean,
he's still got this year and next year before his contract's up. He's making $25 million a year.
I say no. Like, I mean, we're talking about like what is a 34, 35, 36-year-old Draymond Green going to look like out there? Probably not pretty. Like, not pretty at all.
So I think nobody values Draymond as much as the Warriors do, and I think that's well deserved. I think that's for a reason. He's more valuable to the Warriors than he would be to any other team. He's an integral part of their culture, and the fact that, he's going to get clowned on social media, but he's one of the biggest reasons they went back and won it last year. Mm-hmm. Nobody values Draymond more than the Warriors do. And going back to when he first signed this 4-year, $100 million contract, nobody would have paid him that much money except the Warriors. And now I think we're in the spot. Not even the Warriors think this guy is worth a super max deal. Like, yeah, he's great. Yeah, he adds a ton to your franchise. He's a generational talent on defense, but the only guy who's going to give the team that's going to give you the most money is the Golden State Warriors. And if you're asking for too much for them, you might be pulling a Dennis Schroeder on yourself.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm like the Warriors front office, I'm trying to just like convince Draymond to just slowly like take on the Udonis Haslem role. Like, we'll give you a little bit of money. You just kind of sit on the bench and fucking scream at people and coach everybody up. But obviously that's not what Draymond is seeing for his future whatsoever.
And he's got his eyes on TNT already. He's a new media guy. He's not going to be like front office coaching role. He's got his next gig lined up. It's going to pay him very handsomely. There's no reason for you to go after a supermax and handicap what the Warriors can do in your twilight years. So, John, what do you think? John, as a fellow Warriors dick rider, what do you think? Or Gerald, I'm fucking sorry.
I would say, the Warriors are already going to be in luxury tax hell. No one – I mean, I have nothing else to bring to the table other than what you said, besides the fact that it's Marcus Smart, when I mentioned about him earlier, times 3. Like, Draymond is the ultimate plug and chug in a system for the Warriors. Like, he is the Warriors. Mm-hmm. I know Steph, obviously, I'm huge Steph guy. Me and Rick have gone back and forth about this. Second favorite player besides Derrick Rose. But when it comes to Draymond, like, you put him on the Hawks, you put him on the Magic. If you like that's like the Magic, give him a max deal, what's going to happen? Like,
dude, just the visual of Draymond Green in the Orlando Magic pinstripes is hilarious.
How insane is that? And we saw what he would be without stars with the Warriors, like, what was it, 2 years ago, when they went like 21 and
when
68.
Barkley said he was averaging a triple single.
Yeah, I mean, Draymond is the ultimate max out his potential, max out his value on one team, and he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not a huge Draymond guy, but I obviously respect his game, and I respect the fact that he's been the cornerstone of a dynasty for the last 10 years. You pay him, but you don't give him the max, for God's sake.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that take on it. Like that's exactly what you have to do. You cannot give this guy a max.
So to conclude, Roquan Smith, we're all on team pay the man, and Draymond Green, we're all on team pay the man at a reasonable price that's not a max deal.
Yeah, pay the man, but not too much. Not too much. Just pay him a little bit.
Pay the man fair market value.
Yeah.
No,
if I'm the Warriors, I say, like, if I'm the Warriors, like most other guys can go out to other teams and like get an offer and get that match. Like you look at Ayton last year, you look at Levine. Like other people can go to other teams and say, hey, they're going to pay me this much. That's not an option for Draymond. You kind of got to take what the Warriors are going to give you because no one's going to pay you more.
He's not getting more than $15 million from any other team. I got to be honest.
100%.
What team is? I don't even think he's getting more than 12. But who knows?
Yeah, there's really he doesn't really value any other teams other than the Warriors, and I feel like everybody in the league is that's a mutual agreement. It's like he's just a Warriors guy through and through.
Draymond on a team like a contending team would be like Blake Griffin this year in the Nets. That's about as good of value as you're gonna get.
Yep.
All right, are we ready to talk some screens, Fab?
We're gonna talk some screens here. I'm itching.
No motion pictures.
Itching to hear your take.
So be free to take me out of this one.
Yeah, I think John's gonna sit this one out. So yeah, me and Fab.
Should I drop him out? I can bring him back in.
That's fine. He's good.
Okay.
So Nope. Fab, me and Fab both saw it. I finally got Fab's ass into a theater to see a movie. Excited to talk about one with him. I actually just saw this movie like within an hour of recording. I got a nice little afternoon matinee showing, went and enjoyed a lovely afternoon. And before we get into the movie, I just need to share probably the weirdest theater experience I've had in my life, and just one of the weirdest experiences I've had, period. So I walk in. So I'm back home in Bloomington. Well, not home, unfortunately, anymore. But I'm back in my place in Bloomington. I'm moving my stuff out. My lease is up at the end of the month. So I thought I'd pop over, do a nice little matinee showing, get 30% off. Anyone who knows me knows I love solo movies. That's the way to do it. So my town has 2 movie theaters. There's one on the other side of town, which is a little bit nicer. Neither of them are anything to write home about. They're 2 AMCs. They don't have the reclining seats or anything. Just 2 basic AMC theaters. And then there's the other one that's closer to me that was actually was already the shitty one pre-COVID. COVID hit. They closed down for a while. Post-COVID, they actually just reopened. Obviously, not much need for 2 AMC theaters in the same town in rural Indiana. But anyway, I show up to the shitty AMC of my town. I got my ticket pre-purchased on my phone, and I walk in there. It is a fucking ghost town. It's the dust bunnies could have blown across the screen like it's an old Western film. It was unbelievable. You walk in, you're supposed to walk past somebody at the ticket booth to buy tickets. Nobody was there. There's nobody at the concession stands. There's nobody at the ticket taker station before the theater. There's nobody, like customers in the lobby. I walk in there, I'm all alone. I've never been more confused in my life. There's not an employee or an audience member to be seen. So I'm like, sit around for 5. Like I had already paid for my ticket. I low-key wish I didn't if I had known, but I wasn't trying to violate any sort of laws, get away with anything. I'm just like, what the fuck do I do?
Oh, because you paid it. You got it online, right?
Yeah, I bought it in advance. I had it on my phone. There was I wasn't trying to sneak in. I was trying to do the honorable thing, have someone scan my ticket. Finally, nobody shows up after 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I guess just walk into the theater. I show up 15 minutes late to any movie. I'm not trying to see the previews. So I walk in right as Nope is starting up in the auditorium. There's like 2 or 3 other people in the theater, so I'm not alone. I confirmed I wasn't in some sort of Twilight Zone episode where it was just me in there. And the movie starts up, and when the movie starts, they like close the doors.
Yeah.
Nobody had closed the door outside of the theater, so I can hear what's going on in the theater
Oh
next to me.
shit!
I'm sitting in the back row. I can hear the movie. Like there's literally so little people here that they're not even like closing the doors when the movie start. What was weird is I start to hear a fucking laugh track from whatever's going on in the theater next to me. There's a fucking laugh track like it was a 90s sitcom. And I'm like, I'm thinking, is this Thor Love and Thunder? Like who has a laugh track in a 2022 movie?
Right.
And I was just so perplexed about it. And finally, like halfway through the movie, someone got up and like had to close the doors themselves so we could all like focus on it. It was comically loud coming from the theater next to us.
And plus, you probably got the light coming through too, right?
Yeah, there was
like
a little bit of light.
Yeah, that's
really
brutal.
detracted from the theater experience.
That's fucked.
But there was and Nope is a quiet movie, so like it was very consistently loud.
Yeah,
but I thought I was living in a sitcom. It was unbelievable. Like I couldn't believe it was real life.
That's eerie as fuck.
Unbelievable comedic timing. When there was a dead silent moment in Nope, it was after a big scene. I don't remember the exact big scene. I had heard the laugh track all movie. I had heard like muffled sounds in the background coming from the other theater. All of a sudden, there's like a dead serious moment, and you just hear the fucking Seinfeld theme.
No way.
And
what were they showing?
I didn't get up and actually go over to look, but all I can deduce is that all the movie theater employees thought they were done, thought I had showed up 15 minutes late, so they thought they'd taken all the tickets, and they all just fucked off to an empty theater to watch Seinfeld. It was unbelievable.
That is fucking insane.
I swear to God, I thought I was hearing shit, but I heard it clear as day, the fucking Seinfeld theme coming.
That is, let's just go back to the beginning where
I literally think it was just a employee bonding moment where they all just put up Seinfeld in an empty theater. Unbelievable.
Well, thinking about Seinfeld like on a theater, that's actually kind of sick to think about, but it's definitely fucked up how poor these employees were at their jobs. But walking into like an empty theater like that and they're not even being like employees there, that's like that feels like really creepy.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a Twilight Zone episode.
That's fucking wild.
It was low key scarier than anything I had seen on the screen in Nope. So Nope. If I could break it down in one sentence or less, I had no idea what the fuck was going on, but it looked really cool while it was happening. I had a good time watching it. I thought, Jordan Peele is obviously one of the most creative director minds of our time. I thought it looked absolutely beautiful. Those fucking wherever they filmed it at looked incredible. I loved the Western vibes. I loved some of the shots they did. The alien looked, once it like got all expanded and shit, it looked really cool with that whole like.
That was cool. Yeah.
It was very trippy. But the
plot, like a jellyfish.
Yeah. But the plot itself and what was actually going on and what the characters are trying to accomplish, it kind of left me wanting a little more and like wishing
100%
there was more actually going on and maybe a more concrete storyline. It was very out there, very like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is now, but
like cryptic.
Very cryptic. I didn't know what was going on a lot of the time. It didn't really accomplish what a horror movie should for me. There wasn't a whole lot of scenes where I was genuinely scared. I enjoyed it. I'd still give it a nice like 76 out of 100. But yeah, they compared to Get Out and even Us. I mean, he set the bar so fucking high with Get Out that's like a top 5 movie of all time for me. But
that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah. It left me wanting more. Jordan Peele's always going to have such a big hype train attached to him now because of Get Out, and for better or for worse, I walked out of this one maybe a little disappointed. I'm not going to act like it was a shitty movie, but yeah, I did want a little bit more out of it. Fab, what do you think?
Yeah, so I actually haven't seen all of his movies. I haven't seen Candyman, which I want to watch. But Get Out.
Candyman, one of his movies? I think he just produced it. I don't think he directed.
Oh, really?
Let me look that up.
Oh, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I just know he's attached to it somehow. But I went in like you with very high expectations. To me, the most intense scene in the movie was, and obviously we're spoiling here. If you haven't seen it, don't listen. Fast forward.
Yeah, spoilers. We'll try to throw a tag in.
Yeah, the most intense scene to me was when like the lights flick on in the barn. He goes in there and he sees the aliens, and it's like, all right, here we go. Like, here are the aliens. This is going to be sick. And then it turns out to be like kids dressed up in costumes. And then from there, I was like, this is just lame. When the movie ended, I was physically looking around. Like, did you guys just watch what I like? That was horrible. I thought it was terrible. And then the more like I did some research on it, watched like some theory videos, and kind of like there's some lines you draw between scenes, and it kind of makes a little more sense. But I still didn't love it. And I think it's like you said, because of the bar that he set, just how intense like those first two movies, Get Out and Us, were. And there was like the twists, but like there was really, it just wasn't intense. There wasn't really a twist at all. Like my dad after the movie asked, he was like, you can just spoil it for me, I'm not going to see it. And I couldn't even think of like a way to spoil it for him. I was like, I don't even know what to tell you that's going to tell you what happened, because there was really no twist. Like there was really nothing, like other than finding out that what you thought was an alien spaceship turns out to be the alien itself, like it's its own being. Like that was the big twist, which was kind of just like nothing.
Yeah, and you just said the scariest part for you was the kids dressed up in costumes in the barn. That was a great scene. That really got some suspension and like a scare out of me, even though he kind of subverted expectations. For me, the only time I was legit, like 't not even terrified, but legit just uncomfortable, was when the alien went above. What was that guy's name? Jupe,
yeah.
What was his show's name? The Star Official Express or something.
Yeah, it was
when the alien ate that whole audience at Stephen Yeun's performance, and it showed them literally like getting shot up in its digestive tract, and everyone was screaming, and it was like just this gory bouncy house. Like that legitimately stuck with me for the rest of the movie. That was horrifying, seeing how those people died. I thought they did a great job of that. For me, like, he's always has like a deeper meaning and a deeper theme. I thought that was one thing the film did very well, was convey that kind of deeper theme. And to me, it was kind of like, I don't know how to put this into words. Like everybody who was looking at the alien to like chase fame and chase clout and like couldn't look away from it died. Like there was that TMZ reporter literally getting sucked up into the alien cloud saying, "Get my camera. This is insane. Get my camera. Make sure you're getting pictures." Yeah. There was that crazy director who had the wind-up camera who literally ran to the alien and wanted to get it on film.
Want to get that, yeah.
It was a very cool commentary, I think, on like how like not being able to look away from media and not look away from like how horrible all the shit that's going on is, like destroys you over time. And the relationship media and news has with that and us, the audience, and also just the poisonousness of like chasing fame and always like, I thought they should have swapped titles with fucking like Don't Look Up, because I don't know, like if these people had just been able to look away and not look at this horrible thing that was happening and not try to get famous off it, they would have been fine. So I think that was kind of the deeper meaning, and I thought he did a great job of portraying that.
Yeah, I think because it's Jordan Peele, so like those metaphors and those lines that he draws are always going to hit. I think it's not going to scratch your itch when it comes to like intense like twists. I thought one of the really good, this is really only talked about like more towards the beginning when they're talking about their great grandfather, how he was the jockey on like the first ever motion picture, and like nobody knows who he was. Like he gets thrown on the rug. He doesn't get any recognition. It's only like the horse. I thought that was a good metaphor. But I did watch. You've definitely seen Jaws, right?
Yeah. No, it felt very Jaws inspired with how. Yeah.
I watched a video and it was literally every single character like direct like to Jaws, and obviously the alien is Jaws. It's like exactly the same storyline. The same characters die who like are similar. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But I don't hate it nearly as much as I did when I left the theater. I'm more just kind of like content with it now. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but I was angry at first. Now I'm just kind of content with it. I'll definitely keep watching his movies though.
Yeah. I'm a big rewatch guy, and I think Jordan Peele's movies always deserve a rewatch. He always kind of leaves Easter eggs and hidden metaphors along the way. So I'm excited to do that. The cast was all absolutely incredible. Daniel Kaluuya killed it fucking again.
He's awesome. Yeah, he's awesome.
He needs every lead role forever. Jordan Peele loves him. I love him. That's our guy. Come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Keke Palmer, the former fucking child star, came in kind of hasn't gotten any roles recently. I thought she did a great job. I would have loved to see more of Steven Yeun. I feel like he was kind of underutilized. But going off that, his character and the whole chimpanzee fucking tirade, didn't really know what was going on with that for most of the movie, but I thought that was a great sequence.
Yeah, that was sick. I thought that was really cool. That whole like backstory for him.
Yeah.
I just hated how it just like ended so abruptly. Like halfway through the movie, he's dead, and then it's just. I really thought that was going to be like a big. I guess it was because I realized that like the balloon pop is what set that the monkey off in the beginning, and then what ultimately ended the alien was a balloon. So that was some sort of little Easter egg or whatever you want to call it there. But I thought it was just kind of like the way that the alien died. I thought was kind of stupid. Like this is such a smart creature that can't tell the difference between a giant inflatable balloon and a person.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of stupid.
Yeah, I thought the first two acts were absolutely incredible, even if they did leave a bit to be desired in terms of like plot and having something more cohesive to root for. And I don't know if that aspect, maybe I'm sure if I talked about it with like a film school major, they would call me an idiot for having that take, but whatever, man. I'm not pretending to be smart about movies. I view movies on a binary scale. Either I enjoyed it watching it or I did. But yeah, those first two acts were incredible. And for me, the third act, the finale kind of fell a little short. It kind of ended a little abruptly, kind of where Jordan Peele usually, that's where he throws you his big curveball. It kind of just felt like, oh, let's wrap it up with a nice bow on it. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Let's get a final score out of 100. What did you think of the movie?
What you said, 76?
Yeah, I'll go 76.
I like that score. I'll go a little lower. I'll just go. This is definitely over a 70. I'll say 73.
Yeah.
I think under 70 would be kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it was a gorgeous film. Had some really like great suspension scenes, good scary scenes. Good job subverting expectations with some scary scenes. He's a mastermind. Maybe it's just Jordan Peele's mind operating on a different wavelength than the rest of ours. But hey, I'm just representing the common man here in the theater. I thought great, but could have been a little better. There's a few elements that are keeping it from pushing it into like Get Out territory, and I would also rank it below Us as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we get off here, I'm gonna go rewatch Get Out because that was just a masterpiece film.
I'm pretty sure it's on. My sister actually texted me today. It's on something until like August 10th or something.
I don't pay for streaming, Fab. You know that.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know what.
Should
we get our guy back there?
Yeah, I think we're good. I'm pumped. You finally have watched The Bear. Are we not talking about The Bear?
We could talk about The Bear. Has Gerald seen The Bear?
Gerald, I don't think has seen The Bear, but he's a Chicago guy, so he can contribute a little.
Please let me know what's going on because I need a new show.
I've only seen the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, okay. So it's a show. This guy, he moves and takes after his brother dies. He's like he's a master chef out in a big city. His brother dies and leaves him the Italian beef shop up in River North, John.
It's a real place. I meant to ask that.
Yeah, so this is kind of my only major beef with the show, no pun intended. They kind of portray
that is awful.
Yeah. They kind of portray the restaurant itself is not real, Fab, but it is inspired off a restaurant called Mr. Beef. Actually, one of my boys went out and got a sandwich from there.
Really?
Homage to the show. He said it was great. But they kind of portray River North as like this gritty, like Chicago suburb where the real inner city shit is happening. River North is where my sisters live, and they're the most basic bitches I know.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. No, River North is like where the post Big Ten grad kids move. It's where like the rich white people.
A lot of them like good bars there too.
Yeah, River North is the most gentrified of Chicago areas. Mm-hmm. So they kind of portrayed it a little gritty, but they really nailed the essence of Chicago. They really nailed the essence of like working in a restaurant. That's one thing I really loved as a former busboy. Not to brag,
which you don't get enough credit for.
Yeah, I've been shouting it from the mountaintops, John. But yeah. Just a great passion project. It really brought something new to the table that we haven't seen from a show in a bit. For me, it feels like the first piece of like media that's heavily influenced by Uncut Gems, like that same constant anxiety.
Yeah. Did you watch the whole season?
I'm only through 6, so give me your thoughts on the first 4 episodes.
So I liked it. I was definitely like confused. I had to rewatch some parts just because I feel like it moves really fast and like there's these intense shifts in the kitchen and
the way the directors and camera guys achieve that is absolutely masterful. Like there's a lot of one shots. They're constantly building anxiety and building the pressure within you. But continue.
What's the actor's name? Lip from Shameless. Do you know his name?
He's got 3 different names.
Oh really? Whoever he is, I know he's a listener. He's fucking incredible. That's like the reason. Like we've talked about this before. I don't watch anything.
Allen White.
Gotcha. I don't watch new shit, but I just have like my guys that I like. Like he's one of the guys that I like. Like when he does something, I'll watch it. Like I like Jordan Peele, so
and
I figured I would like the show.
You didn't know his name, but you'll watch anything.
I know what he looks like. He's probably the most distinguishable guy you could ever have. But just like
everybody's got like 15 guys like that.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say everybody's got like 15 actors. No idea what his name is, but you love him.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's my guy right there. I don't know who he is, but
that guy from like that thing.
Yeah. But just like I feel like he's always playing like a similar character. Like he's got a few screws loose, like just like kind of a head case, like, but he's like you really like him deep down. You want him to succeed really bad. Like I feel like he just nails that role time and time again. But I think I got to the episode. I finished the episode where they QB sneaked the birthday party, which was hilarious. I can't even remember like what exactly is happening, but I think I'm definitely going to keep watching it. So, which isn't the case with many shows that I watch. So,
highly recommend to all the listeners. John, anything you've watched recently?
Call me a psycho. I've been on a little bit of a World War II tear recently. I watched A Bridge Too Far for the first time with my dad a couple days ago.
Tom Hanks, right?
Nope. That was made in like 1976, I think.
Oh.
But yeah, it was a real old like World War II movie. Don't ask me why, but I'm reading a book right now about George Patton, so I'm pretty.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch Operation Mincemeat. Kev, I know you've seen that movie. Or Rick, I know you've seen that movie. So I've been consuming some World War II content, which honestly is it's going pretty well. Like I'm a pretty big fan. I don't know if you could say you're a fan of a war, but that's like I find it very entertaining. The stuff that happened in World War II is crazy. Besides that, I was watching the rehearsal last night. Watched a couple episodes. That shit is funny. Anything with Nathan Fielder, as Rick knows, I'm a huge fan of his. I don't know how I didn't watch the first episode until last night, but it was awesome. And then I rewatched 42 this weekend, which I'm just all over the map.
Is that the Jackie Bradley? Holy shit, the Jackie Robinson movie.
Jackie Bradley.
Bradley Jr. movie.
And I'm kind of with Ricky. I kind of enjoy rewatching movies more than I do watching the actual one, especially if it's really good. And I remember loving 42 the first time. I think it was amazing. Honestly, the second time through, it was okay. It wasn't as good as I remember, to be honest with you, which is very rare for me. But it's a good baseball movie, and there's no
so
other.
You're slandering Chadwick in the grave, is what I'm
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I had extremely high expectations going in, but there's jack shit for sports going on right now. So this is like the 2 months where I get really into baseball besides October. So since the Cubs suck, baseball is such a regional sport that I can't really get into baseball right now. So a couple baseball movies here and there is about the extent of what I'm going to do with sports right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, baseball is. I usually don't get into the Red Sox all that much, but I mean, usually I wait till like the playoffs to get into the Red Sox. But this year I've been like watching every game, and it just can't be going any worse. Like the Yankees are nasty, we suck. Yeah. Like it's just really miserable. I'm ready to just to bow out on the Red Sox and get into football season. Just miserable stuff.
Yeah, your baseball team's not good, so get ready for the team that's made the playoffs 20 the last 22 years, right?
Yeah.
Nice problem to have.
That's a running bit on this podcast. Is
champagne problems.
That's probably what you get all the time from non-New Englanders. So I don't mean to brag on you.
Especially for me, every single podcast we shoot, he hears it. So
well, I mean, I have to catch myself too. I mean, I'm complaining about a baseball team that's 500 right now, like they're the worst team in the world. I
was gonna say it couldn't be going worse. I'll tell you what's going on the north side right now. That is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Every player you've ever cared about, gone.
Every single baseball player I ever cared about, besides maybe Aramis Ramirez and Ryan Terrio, a couple callback players for any diehard Cubs fans out there.
You're not a Soriano guy?
Take him or leave him. I did have a jersey at one point. So that answers your question for itself. Besides a select few Cubs players from like 07, 08, every single Cubs player that I care about that brought us a championship, even Ian Happ, who wasn't even on that 16 team, they're just getting shipped away. And this is the time where I could rant about Tom Ricketts, which I do to about 3 times a day. We could have had Anthony Rizzo if you paid $5 more million for him, which he's one of the most legendary players in Cubs history. After he decides not to just fork over an extra $5 million, he goes out and buys a European soccer team for $3 billion. So it's not even like this tax problem in baseball. There's no tax, so it's not even like that's an excuse. Just didn't want to spend the money, even though he goes out like literally 6 months later and buys. I forget, Liverpool maybe it was. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's because the other sports, you got that excuse of the luxury tax, but it's literally that's not there in baseball. It's literally you just didn't want to pay.
Or just the tax or the salary cap. Yeah, it's bullshit. But,
We got anything else on motion pictures, or should we get into the mailbag here?
Is the mailbag the last segment?
Yeah, last segment. We got seven questions here.
Okay, yeah.
From the ball gazers.
Fab, take over hosting duties.
All right, so
John or Jared. Harold, I noticed you're stricken as spotted.
Yeah, I'm having a cow.
Oh yeah.
What a better time than now to have a cow? My grandparents went up to Upper Michigan, and when they came back, they got a 12er for me and my brother, who's conveniently in Florida. So tough break for Thomas. He's missing.
Is that a local brew?
Fab, are you familiar with Spotted Cow?
I don't think so. It kind of sounds familiar, but
it's only brewed in Wisconsin, and it's like a legendary beer. Like anyone who ever goes to Wisconsin, make sure to grab a 12-pack. So like where I'm from, which is pretty close to the Wisconsin border, like dads will literally drive an hour just to stock up on Spotted Cow. Like give it a quick Google. It's actually like there's a bar in New York who like lost their liquor license for selling had a keg of Spotted Cow they were dishing out, and like people were coming hand over fist for it. It's a local legend for sure.
I just pulled up the website. The website looks like it was made in 2002 and hasn't been updated, which tells me that it's a good beer.
Right. I don't want my beer makers to know web design. I really
right. All right, let's get into some questions from the ball gazers here. We got some real good ones here.
You guys came through with the mailbag shot. Nobody we love and appreciate more than the ball gazers. Anyone who downloads, anyone who listens, we say it all the time, but we can't say it enough. You guys are the best.
So we got at Mike_15. Would you rather know when you die or how you die?
Easy question for me. When, for sure. Because if you know how you die, and if it's bad, you're not going to have a fun time the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. That's just a fact. Like, unless it's something that's totally obscure, assuming that you can't change what happens, like, say it's like you get hit by a car, you're not going to have a fun time because even if you drive somewhere to go do a fun activity, the way back you might be dying a horrible death. And if you know when you die, you can kind of mold your life around it, still have a good life with an expiration date.
Yeah, I'm kind of going to play – I originally agreed with you, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. When you say when you die, you kind of just are – you're taking out the true meaning and glory of life. Like if you just set your own expiration date, what's there to live for? You know exactly when it's coming. It's kind of a boring life. But if you go for how you die, if it's a bus accident, not to ride any buses going forward. If it's a volcanic eruption, to stay away from volcanoes. If it's cancer, to go and get your checkup. So I don't know. I feel like how you die is a good way to kind of get the best of both worlds without living with that cloud looming over your head that, you're expiring in a year or two.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna agree with Gerald more. Here. Yeah, I think when.
Hey, I said I'm playing devil's advocate. Yeah. I cannot be held liable for that take.
But I think knowing how you die, like you're really rolling the dice there. Like that's the bigger gamble because it could be like if it's something like cancer, like you said, like you just make sure you get your screenings. But if it's something like a car accident, like where are you going to go? Like every time you get in the car, you're going to be like, oh, well, I could die like right now. Like I know that I'm going to die.
You move to New York City and you live like Tyler O'Day. You just talk shit to car owners for the rest of your life.
That's true. You could do that. But then what if you get hit by a car though? It's still.
I guess it depends how much they clarify with how you die.
I think if you go how you die, you're rolling the dice more, but could potentially work out better for you if it's something like old age or cancer.
Yeah. So I think we're 3 on when you die at our core here.
Well, wait, hold on. I want to go what you said. You say that knowing when you die takes the fun out of life. I could not disagree more. I'm the flaming example of someone that if you told me when I would die, it'd be completely different. Because right now, I don't know when I'm dying, so I'm just going through the motion. Got a boring job, went to a mediocre school. No offense to Indiana, Rick. I don't know if you should put out to the. I went to a decent school.
Brother, we graduated from the Kelly School of Business. I don't know what the fuck you're talking
Couldn't
about.
be living a more average life right now across the board. I think if you put an expiration date on me, it might spice things up a little bit.
Hey,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
In average life before you hopped on a top 100 sports podcast.
That's a good point.
I'd put it top 50 actually. And the one thing I would say is
I'm just going pure numbers here. We are actually top 100 in terms of downloads and listens, I believe.
We did eclipse that.
I would personally say top 1, unless Mixtape comes back. Shout out to Coley Mick resigning his post over at the Stool. But until Mixtape makes their return, we're top 1.
I can't believe I didn't call yesterday to get your take on the McMahon jumping ship. That was stunning. Because now
the only loss from my perspective is in the dozen. I don't really consume any of his stuff at Barstool anymore. And if we get Mixtape out of it, if we get Mixtape back out of it, I'm all for it.
Oh, 100%. I think everybody agrees on that.
Content out there.
Dozens really good.
Yeah.
The Barstool Most Dangerous Game is pretty good if you guys have been tuning in.
I actually watched the first 2 episodes.
Me too.
The Billy's an absolute psycho.
R.I.P. to my grilled chicken fry, dude.
Yeah, they're so dumb. I was so angry watching that episode yesterday. They're so dumb.
And the rules of the game just don't really make sense.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
They're explained well, but it's just not a very well run game, I guess. But good production value. Roan's killing it. Shout out Lil Sass, Billy Football, absolute fucking villain. That guy stinks. Brother.
What? You don't like Billy Football?
I don't think anyone. I think his stock's at an all-time low. But let's move on to the next question.
We'll do a segment about that next episode. The next question is from our guy Tum Tweet here. Who would be the best NBA player if the ball weighed 20 pounds? I thought about this a lot earlier because trying to imagine a ball weighing 20 pounds, it's a lot more than you might think in your head. 20 pounds is kind of a lot. Steph Curry is washing dishes somewhere. That's the case.
I think either Embiid or Jokic, just guys that we know are big and have a lot of muscle mass. Maybe, hate to be the dick rider, but maybe one LeBron James.
It definitely could be. I was going to go with Embiid just because he has the edge because I think he's a lot stronger than Jokic.
But Jokic just has that mass.
Yeah, that's true.
20 pounds is just fucking one of his love handles.
I mean, could you even dribble a 20-pound ball? I guess we'll just assume for the sake of the question that you can use it as a normal basketball. It's just way heavier.
I was going to say Taco Fall because I don't think you can dribble that ball at all. I think you just post Taco Fall's ass in the post, get him the ball, monkey sit him, little dunk.
I think whoever can hold it up the highest.
I think if Taco Fall tried to lift 20 pounds over his head, it would snap both his elbows at a 90-degree angle.
You don't think he's got the muscle mass?
No.
Taco Fall's a pretty big. He's not that skinny.
He's just so long that I feel like it's hard for him to get muscle mass on his arms. But I feel like he would definitely.
Imagine Trae Young from the logo with a 20-pound ball. Does he even make it to the free throw line?
It's a hilarious visual either way. I feel like they should do some sort of all-star weekend event,
like
a heavy ball game.
Fucking nutsack. You want a high release point? They'd be getting all their weight into that bitch.
Yeah, that's a good question. Shout out Tum Tweet. So do we agree on Joel Embiid, or do you guys have other? You said Taco. Is Taco your guy? Gerald?
It's probably Joel. I like that.
I'll go Jokic or Embiid.
Okay. Yeah, we're all in agreement there. That's a good
But
question.
Jokic can't make the flick passes and all the artistic stuff he does with the 20-pound ball, though.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe you just want Joel Embiid for bully ball.
Yeah, you can't really have a soft touch with a 20-pound ball. You're either dunking it or dropping it in the hoop or something. You're not really. There's no hook shots to be made.
All of a sudden, Kofi Cockburn goes from G League to first team All World.
Kofi Cockburn is finding himself in the NBA lottery and a member of the Trailblazers in 6 months.
Shout out our guy Kofi. He's a long-time listener.
Shaq would be an all-time Hall of Fame 20-pound ball.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
He'd be the number 1 player of all time. But
should start that up. That'll be like the live tour for the NBA, the 20-pound ball league. Just all like the strongest guys. All right. Next question is from our girl Gracie Marks, recurring question asker on the show. We love
Absolute
Gracie.
Goat.
She would like to know our predictions for the Lakers season, their record / seed predictions. What do we think?
You guys get your slander out of the way so I can fucking stroke LeBron a little bit when you're done.
You want to go, Gerald?
Yeah, I'll give it a go. How does 38-44 sound?
That sounds like it could be the 8th seed in the West.
Exactly right. That's exactly what
I agree with you. I agree with you, though. Maybe not
LeBron's
that low.
LeBron's not missing the playoffs this year. There's no way LeBron missing the playoffs. He's too great. I'm not a huge LeBron guy, but he's too great to miss the playoffs. But that team's just not good enough to make it a real run. In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be a little better than that. I think Anthony Davis is going to play a little more games than he did last year. I think we'll see a better version of Anthony Davis. But I don't think they're going to win a ton of games. I think they'll probably be around the 500 mark. I think they're going to have a little push at the end, maybe to avoid the play-in tournament. I think they'll make the playoffs, but it won't be pretty, and I think it'll be ugly in the first round.
All right, so here's my question for you guys before I give my take. If they manage to pull off this Westbrook for Kyrie heist, what does it look like then?
Oh, yeah. That take I had is assuming the roster looks how it does now.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's say they pull it off. What do we think?
Then that's a real contender if they do, honestly. I know that a lot of people are hating on Kyrie recently. But if you put Kyrie with LeBron, those are two guys that have proven to play well together. I think the Lakers are legitimately the only team he can go to where he'll be like a legitimate problem. I mean, obviously,
where he elevates the team instead of takes back.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think it's kind of a two-way street too, because I think LeBron, I know he's going to be super down on this year too, but like he's still going to miss some games, and I don't know. I mean, without Kyrie, I don't know if he still has that same fire. I know Rick, you strongly disagree with that, but the guy's got $1 billion business ventures nowadays. If you put Kyrie on the Lakers, you kind of rejuvenate him from his like competitive standpoint. Kyrie is a fully different player. That's obvious with LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they'd make a run at the Western Conference for sure.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a happy, like, content Kyrie Irving since he was with LeBron last, honestly. So I think you would get a totally different Kyrie Irving than we've seen the past few years, which is obviously scary. I think they would definitely be contenders, which would be just my absolute nightmare.
Yeah, so even without Kyrie, I'm saying they're a top 4 seed. I think anyone who's tried to count LeBron out, it's been happening since 2017. You're not making your money with that bet. We haven't seen any evidence of late decline yet, and I don't think it's happening. I think he's got one more year at least of fire left in him. I think it's contingent on Anthony Davis staying at least somewhat healthy. But even if they can snag maybe a 7 or 8 seed, they're still dangerous. I'm not going to be the guy that counts LeBron James out. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah,
I will say this.
Oh, did he lag out?
We lose him?
Oh. Gerald, you're lagging. We didn't get any of this take.
We're dropping frames here. Ping's rising.
He's been kind of a bit laggy throughout, though.
Oh.
Is he back? Gerald?
Sorry.
I think you're back.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're clear now.
Get your take off, Gerald. And we can't hear him again. Oh, he lagged out of the whole stream.
Oh, we lost him altogether.
Damn. Hopefully he can make it back in.
No, but I feel like we're all in agreement that we're not dumb enough to count LeBron out, but we're not.
I'm when it comes to LeBron James, I'm looking at that glass half full. I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah, which is fair. He's earned that as, in my opinion, the greatest player of all time. Yeah, so there you have it for the Lakers. Should we get to the next question here? It says device not connected. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. So should we just add him when he gets back and keep going?
Yeah, we'll keep running it. I'll text him.
So we got our guy at Young Ned Stark here. Shout out Young Ned Stark. Who is your favorite non-star player in the NBA? And the example he gave was Nate Robinson is his.
Nate Rob, great memories from him, but I think he's currently not in the NBA. So
this is a tough question, man.
I don't know. Does Draymond count as a star? If Draymond's not a star, that's my answer. But
should we just
let's go role players? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, like straight role players. See, like Al Horford, is he a star?
No,
he's probably no.
I would.
I don't even know if I would go with Al though. I'm trying to think. This is a really good question.
I'll give the homer answer. As a Bulls fan, I'm a big Alex Caruso guy now. Just that white boy.
Caruso's a good one.
Out there, he does all the gritty things. He's not the most athletic, but he knows ball. He's a lockdown defensive player. He'll distribute for you on offense. Yeah, that's going to be the homer answer, but that's the answer I'm going with. It's Grayson.
I got mine.
God, I just said Grayson.
Oh no. All right, let's clip that. Rick's favorite non superstar player is Grayson Allen.
No, I was just those two. Their destinies are linked at this point. But no, it's fucking Alex Caruso, the young goat.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Mine, I'm gonna go with Kelden Johnson, Kentucky guy. I tweeted this. I was really drunk the other night, really late, and I decided that Kelden Johnson was a lock for most improved player next year.
I think we got Gerald back.
Oh, we got him back? Let's go.
Gerald.
My apologies.
Favorite non-star player in the NBA? I already took Alex Caruso off the board.
I took Kelden Johnson.
All right. Oof. All right. Well, let me first begin by saying about the Lakers, I am rooting for them this year. As much as I will slander LeBron, I would love to see LeBron back in the limelight. It's better for the NBA. Wanted to fire that take off before I think some higher power shut me down. Didn't want getting my LeBron takes out there.
Yeah.
But in terms of non-star that's in the NBA right now, that's a great
tough question.
Very difficult.
I mean, I'll start the conspiracy talk.
Right now, trying to think.
I'll start the conspiracy talk while you think of your answer. We've already seen LeBron's history of erasing media that goes against him, late China. When he got dunked on by Jamal Crawford at the LeBron camp, he had that tape wiped from the internet. Are we certain that he didn't wipe Gerald's non-LeBron takes off from the podcast? Because I do know that Clutch Sports is avidly tuning into the podcast. I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm just connecting dots out here. I don't know. Maybe Rich Paul called in a hit on your internet.
I was going to say, I think Rich Paul might be down in our chat here, just somehow like watching us.
Rich Paul is an avid member of Jersey Jerry Army.
He's got
our downfall.
he's got Meerkat hostage right now to get access to this pod.
I think the Jersey Jerry Army hacked your account, found out the mystery guest, and is trying to sabotage the show right now, Rick.
Yeah.
But
this all ties back to primetime sports.
Yeah, somehow.
In some way.
This is all he's doing.
But I would like to say Jalen Brunson is definitely my favorite non-star player. I guess I mean, as a Jalen Brunson fan, I went to 5 of his high school games back in 2015 when he was on Stevenson.
Chicago product.
Illinois high school. Yeah, Chicago product. He also went to Villanova. I used to be a big Villanova fan growing up. So he's some guy that like I would check his box score consistently back in like 2019, 2020 from the Mavs when he was sixth man type guy. And watching him flourish in the playoffs this year was awesome for me to see because I know that he's always had that basketball IQ and the talent to
flourish is a
to
strong
make the
word
NBA.
for what Jalen Brunson did.
Well, when he had the opportunity with Luka,
I said
he
flourish is a strong word for Jalen Brunson. He might have cooked.
What are you talking about?
He might have cooked the Utah Jazz, but I could fucking cook the Utah Jazz.
We'll get to that later.
I would consider that flourishing. He was the second best player on a Western Conference Finals team.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you have to come back to that one?
Well, he's if we're talking the second best player on a fucking conference finals team, then fucking Big Z from the 2007 Cavaliers was the second best player. Just because you're the second best player to a generational talent who gives you a fucking piggyback ride all the way, doesn't mean you're fucking a top player. Just because you're Luka Doncic's second fiddle doesn't mean you're the goddamn shit. But hey, he could prove me wrong.
All right, well, everything's relative. The guy was a second-round draft pick. He was a second-round draft pick. Can you count on five fingers how many second-round draft picks are getting $25 million deals right now, Kevin?
Draymond Green, Nikola Jokic, and I'm out.
Yeah,
Manu Ginobili.
There's this coming out party.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know all about coming out parties.
Nice.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Pause. No, nothing wrong with that. But
nothing wrong with that.
Drawing back to Gerald's earlier point, he says he used to be a Nova fan. If Nova and IU played today, he would deep down in his heart be rooting for Nova, and I will always think he's a fraud.
So false. That's
guy would rather root for his childhood team that he has no connection to than his alma mater, and it frankly makes me sick to my stomach. No.
Absolutely not.
If the listeners can't tell, this is an argument we have over and over, and I will always be right on it. This guy. Him and his fucking Nova Wildcat.
I missed the Villanova round of 32 game. Didn't watch any of it this year. I skipped a Montreal Canadiens game. Once in a lifetime opportunity, mind you. In Montreal, all four of my friends went on spring break when we were skiing in Mont Tremblant. I stayed back, got hammered by myself, watched Indiana get their doors blown off by St. Mary's. And I wouldn't change it for the world because they were in the tournament. So that's just a fact that proves you wrong.
You're a Canadiens fan?
Sidetrack the podcast. Not at all.
Oh,
not one bit.
okay.
I've never watched them play. It's just we were in Montreal on a skiing trip, and they were all going to the Montreal Canadiens game. I've never been to a hockey game in Canada, so it's kind of a sports guy. You should go to one of those games as a sports guy. And I turned it down to watch Indiana play St. Mary's by myself in an Airbnb. So don't call me a fan over an Aggie fan.
Unfortunately, Indiana's first tournament trip of our college careers coincided with our spring breaks. So our senior spring break. So I was posted in a random sports bar in Miami, and I made the bartenders flip to watch us get housed by 30. It was ugly.
Yeah, that was a tough game.
Don't let Gerald fool you. He's a Nova guy through and through. Let's get on to the next question.
I like Nova. Yeah, I like Nova. I'll wear that hat.
All right, next question. We got our guy. One of, if not the greatest account on Twitter, Nittany Bryan. We've mentioned him before on the show. Absolute GOAT. Nittany Bryan would like to know who each of our NBA player comparisons are. I don't know if one of you guys want to take it away here. I know mine.
I'm trying to emulate Draymond Green first and foremost. Maybe with a little bit of the high post game of a Nikola Jokic, but I don't want to compare myself to an MVP. I'm a grit and grind guy. I get the boards. I distribute. I'm not trying to score. I'm a Draymond Green. And no two guys have ever played more pickup than me and Gerald over here. No two guys have ever carried a bottom tier fraternity to more wins in the frat intramural league. This pick and roll, they're going to be writing about it at IU for centuries. And he'll attest to it, I think. I'm a real Draymond out on the floor.
I can see that. Tenacious, just like you take the charge. You step in and take a charge?
No, I block their shit. I'm not taking any charges.
All right. Jesus. All right. I'm a big charge guy.
For me...
You're 6'7" taking charges?
Would I have to? Yeah. If somebody's out of control coming down the lane.
In a pickup game.
No, not in a pickup game, but like a league or something. I'll step in and take the charge like multiple times. Go ahead, Gerald. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was gonna say optimistic. CJ McCollum is optimistic. Decent mid-range, decent playmaker. But if we're being realistic, it's probably a guy like Etuan Moore. Short guy.
Oh, I love Etuan Moore.
Shooter.
Former Bull.
Doesn't really bring much to the table. Very forgettable. Loves the game. I've always called myself Etuan Moore when I play with my friends from back home. I'm just a realist, and it's as depressing as it is. I'm Etuan Moore.
I think the kid's underselling himself, and like I said, we played a ton of ball with each other. Not only do we know ball, we play ball, and we carried our frat to some wins we really had no business getting. And I think you're underselling yourself there. I think you're just afraid to drop the Steph Curry. I think you're just afraid to drop the Steph Curry comparison because you got a nice jumper. You got the stroke. Well, you got a nice layup package. I think you're afraid. I think you're a coward for that comparison, if we're being honest.
I wish we could break down like some film.
The guy I modeled my game around. Yo, brother, I would love to sit. There's nothing I would love to do than sit here with you and break down my film for over an hour and a half. I don't think we have the time for that. Although I model my game around Steph Curry, I'm a realist. There's no shot in hell I'm close to that. So I'll settle for Etuan Moore and I'll be happy about it.
I like that. I usually get compared to, if you just insert the name of any just big white European guy, because that's kind of how I play. But I would say like Al Horford, and I mentioned him earlier. Like I don't do anything like really, really good, but I can kind of do a little bit of everything. Like I can knock down a three here and there. Like I like the mid-range game. I got decent post work. I don't live above the rim, but I can play above the rim here and there. I get tired easily, so that's when I step in. I take the charges a lot. Grab rebounds. Like I just do a little bit of everything. I can pass a little bit. I can dribble well enough for my size. A lot of one of my boys always calls me. I'm not going to compare myself to Dirk, but I love the little turnaround 1 foot step back there. So I get Dirk a lot, but I'm going to go with Al Horford. I think that's probably the most reasonable comparison. So we got Draymond, Etuan Moore, and Al Horford here.
My realistic comparison for myself is actually Miles Plumlee. The Jokic backup.
Love it. Yep.
He's slow. He's not got a handle, but he can rebound his ass off. He's a better passer than he gets credit for, and he's got some money post moves.
I love that.
That's
I can't wait to eventually.
And there's no shame in that. There's no shame.
No, not at all. We're gonna link up eventually one day. We'll get a little pickup game going.
Me and Fab have
you're not
said
buying
it.
We link up above the rim, but you're setting a camp down, and you're making camp up there.
Exactly. Right. You're not coming in my paint without feeling the paint. But yes, listeners, we have talked about it. When me and Fab finally link up, we are playing one-on-one. I'm gonna probably might be 11-0 in my favor, but we'll still do it to figure it out.
When's the last time you touched the ball?
Pause. But not for a few months, if we're being honest.
I was gonna say I've been back on my shit. I've been back on my shit, bro. I'm in real good basketball shape right now.
The Chicago Bears are coming out to Foxborough October 24th. We've been in deep talks on me coming out on WBR X Boston collab, so might be happening sooner rather than later. And while we're on the subject, I hate to pivot. Those Bears uniforms were just absolutely atrocious. Those orange helmets, those traffic cones looks terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Were those throwbacks or
no? We have never rocked
just new ones.
Helmets. No,
I was gonna say I've never seen those before.
Own accord and of their own volition. Terrible.
Speaking of uniforms, what did you guys think about the Giants uniforms, the new ones? I hate people were fucking creaming their pants with the Giants throwback uniforms. They have two different shades of blue. The jersey and the helmet don't match the blue. I thought they're terrible.
A big part of that is just that the best defensive player of all time. Sorry, Aaron Donald, but the best defensive player of all time played in those uniforms. I think
that's true.
A big reason for the nostalgia. Lawrence Taylor looks sick in that uniform, but he'd look sick in everything. That's not a human. That's a man. That's a machine designed to convert cocaine into sacks. Anything Lawrence Taylor ever wore is going to look sick as fuck. So I think that's a big part of it. And they look cool in my eyes, but I think that's just the LT factor.
What do you guys? Do you guys like the Pats throwbacks? I think we're wearing those
red
this year. The red ones. The Reds.
Those are so fucking sick, honestly. Like those bring me back to when I'm like 10 years old watching Tom Brady light the Bears.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but they're sick, but they're gonna look wrong seeing number 10 wearing them under center and not number 12. Like
it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird at first.
I don't know.
Yeah, that is odd. That is odd.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, next question. What we got?
We got two more here. We went from one goat to another here. We go from Nittany Bryan to our guy Potato Gobbler. Shout out PG.
PG.
We love you, PG.
Unbelievable. And shout out to baby PG. Beat
that
respiratory illness. I don't think we've done the pod since that happened, but
that was awesome. Yeah, awesome to see that
he's. For the Gobbler family, could not be happier to see they made it out okay, and we love our guy.
Awesome news to see that he's feeling good. He's out of the hospital finally. That must have been hell for them to go through that week or whatever it was.
Can't even imagine.
Can't imagine. So Potato Gobbler wants to know whose jump shot form is your favorite of all time. This is a great question.
I immediately responded, I love this question. And my answer came to me as soon as I read it, and it's still my answer 12 hours later after doing some research. So unless you guys feel strongly about one, I'll take the floor.
I'm very strongly about one.
Yeah, you're gonna say Clay, I bet.
Yeah.
You want me to go?
He's gonna say Clay?
Clay?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, Clay for me, easily.
No, yeah, go ahead. I feel like he's got the most mechanically sound, shooting coach wise. Like that's who you want to show your kids. Like,
yeah,
if
you're teaching an 8-year-old how to shoot, you show him Clay Thompson. It's the same every time. There's no technically, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just
perfect,
so pure, so perfect.
Yeah.
But back up your stance, Gerald. I'm sorry.
I have a pretty strong backup to the stance because Clay's jump shot ruined my high school basketball career, some would say. Because I spent 6 months imitating his shot. You guys can look it up. It's when they were playing the Thunder, Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals in 2016. One of the best basketball games ever played. One of the most impactful basketball games ever played because that's what sent KD ultimately to the Warriors and ruined the NBA for 5 years or 3 years. If they lose that game, KD never goes there. LeBron might not win a ring. So
we've harped on this enough over the years.
So I think it's probably top 5 most impactful basketball games of all time. Warriors at Thunder. But look up Klay Thompson. He had I think he made 11 threes that game. NBA playoff record. They were down 7 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And he took the most preposterous heat check I've ever seen. His right foot was 45 degrees on an angle with his left foot away from the basket, 8 on the shot clock, pulls it from 35 feet, buried it. If he misses that shot, they almost certainly lose because it was a massive shot. They were down 7, cut to 4, 5 minutes left. Thunder probably go down score if he misses. Anyway, I practiced that shot for 6 consecutive months and ended up ruining my shot, which derailed me from an almost certain Division I career.
Yeah, it would have been D1.
I shot that shot thousands of times. Yeah, D21.
So my answer, it's not the most technically proficient shot. If you're a guard, it's probably not a shot that you're running the tape back on and trying to imitate. But for me as a big, it was something I was trying to imitate and just looks pure, looks great despite the unconventionalness of it. It's Dirk Nowitzki. It's the Dirk fader.
Yeah.
It's that high release point. It's that unblockable shot. You got a 7-footer. He's launching it from a foot above his head. I used to shoot from my chin, and Dirk is what made me start shooting from above. Not if you study the textbook on how to shoot a basketball, Dirk's jumper is not showing up anywhere. But when you saw Dirk fader swish, it was one of the most purest things you've seen in basketball. So I'm going Dirk. It's unblockable, and it looks amazing. And it was hitting nothing but net. And you look back at 2011 when he needed that jumper to go in, it was hitting the bottom of the net every single time. So for me, it was Dirk from the second I heard the question. It's Dirk now. It's not as pure as Klay Thompson. It's not as technically as sound as Klay Thompson's, but it's an easy answer for me.
Both of those are really good. I was down to my first, the first player that came to my head, obviously Kevin Durant. Yeah, his shot is just insane. Specifically, like going to his left hand, the little pull up he does, like just so unbelievably smooth. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Kobe. It's just so smooth. Like you really just can't get much smoother than that. Growing up, my coach always his thing was you gotta Kobe your shot. You gotta Kobe your shot every time we would shoot. So watched a lot of Kobe film. I feel like his shot is just so pure, just so like easy to watch. But surprised nobody said Steph. I thought somebody was definitely going to say Steph, but I feel like that's too easy of an answer.
I feel like he's just such an alien that his shot form changes every single time. Like he could
just shoot it from wherever,
from any release point, any form, and it'll go in. Like he doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say Larry.
Beautiful fadeaway. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's
besides Dirk. Besides Dirk,
yeah.
I know it's better than Dirk. Dirk has a nice fall away. Kobe has the best fade away.
Well,
I like that.
Kobe's fadeaway was 100% reliant on the footwork and creating space with the footwork. Dirk was just, I got the highest release point. I got the best form. I think Kobe was more reliant on the lower body with those fadeaways.
That's fair.
And when you look at a fadeaway, it's all about art. And what takes an artist is the entire body of work.
That's a good point. That's a good point there. So what do we got? So
last question. We got Dirk, we got Clay from our board, Gerald, and what do we got from Fab?
I'm gonna go with Kobe.
Great answer.
I'm gonna.
I texted
him. I texted him before this. I was like, I got you for this.
I feel like I'm very noticeably boosted up. I got you.
I got you for this segment. PG asked me a question, Kobe. I got you for this one.
I actually love watching Kobe fadeaway highlights on YouTube. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. Oh, did Gerald freeze again? Oh, there he is. Okay, let's go. All right, last question brought to you by our guy, J Money Raygun. Shout out J Money Raygun. What current NBA player? You kind of talked about this earlier when you said you could score on the Jazz. What current NBA player do you have the best chance to score one bucket on? This is a tough question because there's a few guys, like you could pick just like a random guy and just like have confidence in yourself that you'll knock down like a 30-footer. But like,
all right, I'm coming in hot off the dome. I'm coming in hot takes, Skip Bayless level. Give me the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. I'm taking him out on the perimeter. I'm going Terrence Man mode on Rudy Gobert. He can't guard me on the perimeter. He might be a nice little paint protector in the regular season. I'm giving him absolute buckets. He can't guard my fadeaway. Call me Victor Wembanyama, the way I'm about to score on Rudy's bum ass.
Wait, how are you going to score on him? Like, what are you going to do? Like, you're gonna pull up?
Is this a one-on-one situation, or is this okay? One-on-one. I'm bringing him out to the perimeter. I'm showing him my advanced handle, and I'm just gonna hit him with it. He's a fraud. That's my game plan at the end of the day. But my very serious.
I hate Rudy Gobert. Sorry, I was gonna say I hate Rudy Gobert as much as the next guy. Kev, pick a different answer.
That was just a chance to slander Rudy.
Which I respect and duly know.
My legit answer, I'm actually going to go with Boban.
Okay. That's fair.
So he has a foot of height advantage against me. Obviously, it's going to be tough to get a shot off against him, but I think he's the least mobile, the least agile, the least quick on the perimeter player we have in the NBA. I think Boban's going to be my answer just because I think I have the best chance of, like, I don't know. We're realistically, none of us are scoring on an NBA player, so I'll take the slowest guy and hope that I can somehow be fast enough to get past his length.
The guy I'm going to pick, I actually do think I could score on. Like, that probably sounds crazy, and I probably couldn't, but I truly, wholeheartedly believe I could score on Enes Freedom or Enes Kanter. Does he count as an NBA player still?
It depends if you're asking Nick Adams or not.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? The Celtics would have won the championship if they didn't drop.
We got 3 Nick Adams super fans in the chat. Whenever I see a Nick Adams tweet, I'm sending it to one of these 2 guys.
Dude, it's the replies are really just like tie the whole thing together. That's my new favorite thing. Shout out Daryl Archideld. He did it first with just like the people with the well thought out replies to his tweets. You just post like a Jose Bautista
thinking they're legitimately dunking on him when he's like very clearly just running a grift and has like no idea.
It's hilarious. But I'm definitely going Ennis. I mean, I'm gonna dribble in, probably engage, escape dribble, get him on me so he's guarding me out by the arc. And then I'm just going to blow by him. I'm going to take him to the hoop. Can't guard his own shadow. Guy stinks. I would score on Ennis Freedom. I'm confident. What do we think?
Yeah.
What do we think, Gerald?
Do we lose him again?
Oh, no.
We got one question left. Come on.
Oh, no.
Who's going?
Oh, wait,
I think you're here. We heard him real clear for a second.
I heard him cut in.
I've never seen him play before, but I think he could score on Isaiah Thomas.
No, let me tell you, like I wasn't exaggerating earlier. Like me and this kid literally carried our frat basketball team. Like this kid at point guard is an absolute bucket. Is he back?
He was for a split second there.
Yeah, I saw his video cut in. Also, while he's gone, let's just appreciate that once again we said, oh, this can be a shorter episode, and once again we are approaching 2 hours here.
Clips in the 2 hours here.
Shout out Rick and
Fab. He's back.
Oh, and he lagged out.
He was here and then we lost him. What the fuck? Any cleanup we want to do before we get his answer here?
We could probably just tweet it out. Oh, wait, is he back?
Let's add him in. Yeah, we got him. There we go. Let's go.
Sorry for the troubles.
No worries.
I think he just lagged out again.
Did he lag out again? In and out. Yeah, he's just frozen.
Yeah.
Let's drop him down and see if his picture moves at all.
Oh, yep.
I think he's back.
Come on, Gerald, you can do it. Just get your take off. Oh, no.
Dude, as soon as he's good, it just goes black.
Right.
Oh, I think he's good. You hear us?
I hear you. Yeah.
All right. Who do we got?
Taco Fall is the first answer that came to my head when I saw this question. By the way, Rick, I don't know what you said. I mean, I know you said Boban, right? But you should have picked a smaller guy. Just because you're overpowered.
As you say, Taco Fall, the tallest player in the fucking association.
Well, if you're planning on pulling up from deep.
I'm a short, quick guy. You know, like that's my only hope. I think you could post up some 5'8" guy. I don't know. Is that French or that Spanish guy still around? Chris.
I mean, I'm not getting a dribble off against the quick
Facundo Campazzo.
Yeah, that guy.
Campazzo, he's made some nice passes. I'm not getting a dribble off against the like short and quick guy.
That's a good point. I think you just back to the basket, get a couple of back down dribbles, really short, and then turn around, do a jump shot.
Yeah, that sounds great on paper, Gerald. Everything sounds great on paper, but in actual execution, I don't think I have the gall to pull it off.
That is a good point though, because it's like it really depends whether you're planning on taking this player to the hoop or if you're planning on just like shooting when you get the ball. Because if you're just going to pull up from deep, you could kind of pick. I mean, you'd probably want to pick a big guy because they're just going to sag off of you.
I'm just looking at my text, and Gerald texts me and just says Taco Fall.
I think we lost him again.
And I think he lagged out again.
Yeah, we lost him again.
Oh.
All right, should we wrap up here? Oh, yeah, we got his answer.
Oh, I think he's back.
Oh.
Nope.
Let's see.
All right, yeah, let's wrap it, and if he can somehow come back in for the goodbye, that would be great. Wait.
Oh, he's here.
Gerald?
Yep. I'm sorry about
that. Yeah. No, we're signing off regardless. This was Rick and Fab, No Ball, episode 10. Thank you so much to everyone who is tuning in, everyone who downloads, leaves a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribes. Anything you can do in that sort of vein helps us out so much. You guys have no idea. We love seeing that shit. But really, I mean, we're not doing it for the numbers. We do it because we love talking ball with each other. We love, interacting with you guys. et cetera, et cetera. But the ball gazers, you guys are the best. Thank you to everyone who submitted questions. Thank you to our boy Gerald for, coming in as the sixth man in a tight spot. We brought up our pinch hitter, and I really think he delivered this episode. I think the listeners are going to love it. Gerald, let's get a review. How did the first appearance go, or the second appearance go? How do we think it did?
I'd give myself a 7.6 out of 10.
Okay.
The audio troubles are
that's the same score I gave to a Jordan Peele movie today. So you're on the same level with Jordan Peele. That's good company to be in.
Yeah. Audio issues, kind of a problem on my end. Have to clean that one up to come back. 2 for 2 now on the audio problems. But really enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for having me on. And I'll just look to clean that up next time.
Yeah. I think I speak for all of us when I say the invite is open to our boy Gerald.
Oh, yeah.
Really appreciate you finding the 2 hours to come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, this is a guy who knows ball, loves ball. This is a guy I would do anything for. Anything you want to say in closing to the listeners?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I don't think you're quick enough to take Boban to the basket. I think you're better suited on trying to get a fall-away mid-range jumper up.
Your closing comments. Your closing comments would be a chirp at me. That's on brand for you.
Yeah, and I think that Michael Jordan's the best player of all time. LeBron is number 2. That's the last thing I'll say.
Yeah, and I'll disagree with you there too, but we can save that debate for your next appearance.
No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that.
We'll get into that eventually.
Fab, any closing comments?
No, Gerald did a really unbelievable. Hopping onto a podcast is not an easy thing. I've been in.
Oh.
I think I hopped on one before, and I was not looking forward to it just because I didn't really know what to expect. So it's definitely not an easy thing to do. Obviously, our guy Gerald knows ball, fit in really well. Looking forward to having him back on. Let's get we'll get the fucking Wi-Fi figured out. We'll get the third time's the charm. We're gonna get a nice and because
a lot of people are wondering if Meerkat is producing for his job at this point. I don't know.
I'm gonna be in the lab studying how to help my Wi-Fi connection until the next time I get on.
You're gonna be Ethernet cables going up the ass. Like we're
Tim
really gonna
Tebow 2009 video right now on me.
You will never find a podcaster who works as harder at their interconnection than Gerald. You will never find someone who gives their all to their Wi-Fi than Gerald.
Thanks for hanging with me, though. Appreciate the time. Thanks for hanging in with the audio message. So thanks, boys.
Yes, sir. Thank you to everybody tuning in. Thank you, Gerald. Yeah. Thank you, Rick.
Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 11 coming next week. Hopefully we can get Muir back.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully we'll have Gerald will be inclined to join us again in the future. But we love you guys. We appreciate you guys more than words can say. And this has been Rick and Fab No Ball episode 10. Love you guys.
Love you guys.